अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। Swagatam. Welcome to this class. We are going to now continue with the 11th chapter. So, Arjuna has asked Krishna to show him that Vishwarupam, the Aishwaryamaya Rupam, which he spoke about, which we described in the 10th chapter, with a lot of different types of vibhutis. So, Krishna had said a lot of things about himself. I am this, I am that, I am present in everything, I am the best among every class of entities. Now Arjuna wants to see, he is asking, can you show me that form? Krishna says, certainly I can show you, but you can't see with your current eyes. And I will give you the divine chakshu, divya chakshum. So divya chakshur dadami, he gives that divya chakshu and then Arjuna sees. So what does Arjuna see? Sanjaya uvacha eva muktva tato rajan mahayogeshwaro harihi Darshayamasa Parthaya Paramam Rupamaishwaram. Sanjaya Uvacha. So Sanjaya is saying this. So how does Sanjaya come into the picture suddenly? Actually, the Bhagavad-gita is narrated by uh, Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But that event is being narrated by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya was on the battlefield and he came back after the 10th day when Bhishma fell. After Bhishma fell, he came back to Hastinapur where Dhritarashtra is, and he is narrating to Dhritarashtra all that happened in the first 10 days. And so as a part of that, he is narrating the Bhagavad Gita. So now in between, Sanjaya is describing. So once in a while in the Gita, Sanjaya's words come. Sanjaya says, what happened next? Eva Muktva, having spoken in this manner, Krishna, Tataha, thereafter, O Rajan, O King, means Dhritarashtra, O Dhritarashtra. Mahayogeshwaro Harihi. Harihi refers to Krishna. Mahayogeshwara. Krishna is Mahayogeshwara. Yogeshwara means Yoginam Ishwaraha, the master of all the yogis. Okay, so yogis means most generally the word yoga refers to connecting with the Supreme, connecting with Bhagavan. So anybody who is following any process to connect with Bhagavan in general is called a yogi. So among all the yogis, the bhakti yogi, the one who does bhakti, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. That Sri Bhagavan says in the 6th chapter. But all the yogis put together, their master, Mahayogeshwaraha, that is Hari, Krishna. So Krishna, what did he do? Darshayamasa means he showed. Parthaya, to whom did he show? To Partha. Partha is a name of Arjuna, because Arjuna is the son of Pritha. Okay, Pritha is the original name of Kunti. When Kunti was born to her parents, her father, her mother, she was named as Pritha. So Prithayaha apatyam puman is Partha. Arjuna is called Partha. So Darshayamasa Parthaya. Krishna showed to Arjuna. What did he show? Paramam Rupam. Paramam Rupam means that which is beyond mundane. What we are seeing here is what is normal, mundane. We say mundane means what is common, what is typical, what is available to all of us. Paramam means what is not available to us, what is not normally considered as mundane, something beyond what anybody can see. Paramam Rupam, Aishwaram Rupam. Aishwaram means that which is Ishvara Yukta. It is belonging to Ishvara, the master. And it is grand. Another meaning of Aishvara is that which is grand, that which is not ordinary, not his ordinary form. Normally, Arjuna is seeing his normal form, the Krishna with two hands or Krishna with four hands. Arjuna is seeing that form. Now he's showing the Aishvara Rupam. So Sanjaya Uvacha Eva Muktva Tato Rajan Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Darshayamasa Parthaya Paramam Rupamaishwaram. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, the great master of the yogis, Sri Krishna, thereafter showed his supreme mighty form, which is beyond mundane vision. Aneka Vaktranayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabharanam, Divyanekodhyata Yudham. So now Sanjaya describes what Arjuna saw. Aneka Vaktranayanam, that form that he saw had Aneka, numerous, means a very large number of Vaktram. Vaktram means the face. Face is Vaktram. So that form that he saw did not have just one face, but he saw many faces. Nayanam, eyes. So naturally, more faces means more eyes also. Each face has got at least two eyes. So a lot of eyes. He saw faces and eyes all over. Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam. It was magnificent to look at. Adbhuta Darshanam means it had magnificent views in it. It displayed magnificent views to look at. Right? Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam he saw in that. Aneka Divya Bharanam. Aneka Divya Abharanam. So Abharanam means ornaments. So numerous. Divyam, the word Divyam directly translates as divine. But how does that word div come? Divyam. Divyam, the word Divyam comes from the verb div, divyate. Divyate means to shine, to be bright, to illuminate, to be luminous. Okay, so that is why the Swarga Loka, the heavenly planets, are called divine or divya, because they are shining, they are luminous. So divya bharanam means divine ornaments which are shining, which are resplendent, luminous, bright. Aneka divya bharanam, divya aneka udyata ayudham, divyaneko udyata ayudham. Aneka udyata ayudham. Ayudham means weapon. Ayudham. Ayudham means a weapon or an instrument that we use. It's called ayudha. Okay? So this form that he was seeing was holding different types of weapons, different types of instruments and weapons. Udyata. Udyata means that which is ready to be used. Udyatam, not just passive, but active. Those weapons, just like a man holding a gun, can be holding it passively or holding it in a position to shoot with it. So that is called udyata, means holding it in a position by which you're ready to use that weapon. Suppose you're having a bow and an arrow, then you're ready to discharge the arrow, holding the bow in that position. So he saw divyaneko dyatayudham. He saw numerous bright and shining weapons ready to be used in that form that he saw. Okay. Aneka Vaktranayanam, numerous faces and eyes. Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, consisting of numerous wonderful visions. Aneka Divya Bharanam, numerous divine and shining ornaments. And Aneka Divya Aneko Dyatayudham, many divine instruments and weapons ready to be used. That form had a large number of faces and eyes, numerous amazing sights, multifarious divine ornaments, and numerous divine weapons ready for discharge. Now, as Sanjaya describes this, and now after some time Arjuna will start speaking in his own words, I want us all to visualize it ourselves. Try to visualize this. Imagine that you're standing on the ground, let's say our ground. The ground is open to the sky. And when you're standing in the middle of the ground, a lot of the sky is visible above you. And you're talking to your friend. And then suddenly your friend says, I'll show you my divine form. And all of a sudden, the sky changes from what you're seeing. So normally you see the sky as, maybe if it's the daytime, you'll see some bluish hues and you will see maybe some clouds. And sometimes you may see the moon in the daytime also. You may see the sun somewhere. That's what you normally see. But suddenly the sky changes into this, what he is describing here. Then how would it be? You see a lot of faces in the sky. You see eyes, you see weapons, you see shining ornaments. Okay, Arjuna is now seeing all that above him. Okay, until this point of time, he was just seeing Krishna standing before him and talking to him. He was seeing the warriors on both sides. So warriors on his side, warriors on the other side. They are in the battlefield. But now suddenly the whole sky has changed to all these things. Divya malyam baradharam, divya gandhanulepanam, sarvascharyamayam devam anantam vishwato mukham. So he continues, Sanjaya continues to describe Divya Malya Ambaradharam. So Malya means garland. Ambaram means garment, dress that we are wearing. So this form that he saw was having divine ornaments and garlands, divine garlands and dresses. Ambaram means a dress, garment. So divine garlands and dresses, garments. The form was decorated with that. Divya Gandhanulepanam, divine Gandha. Gandha literally means smell. That is one translation of the word Gandha. Another translation of the word Gandha is sandalwood paste that is applied to the body. Sandalwood paste is applied to the body in our Samskriti so that it purifies the body and it also gives a very pleasant odor to the body. Body odor becomes very pleasant when you apply sandalwood paste to it. So that form, anulepanam, means that sandalwood paste was smeared on this body. Anulepanam means smeared. So Divya Gandha Anulepanam. So that form was smeared all over with a divine and fragrant sandalwood paste. Sarvascharyamayam. It was wonderful. I mean, it was so much amazing. Ascharyamayam. Ascharya means astonishing, amazing, awesome, causing astonishment. Sarvascharyamayam. It was causing amazement to Arjuna. It was amazing to Arjuna in all respects. Devam, one who is, again, the word Deva comes from Divya or Div, shining. This shining form, Anantam, infinite. It was infinite, spreading. The full sky was spread with this form. Vishwato Mukham. Vishwato Mukham literally means Vishwa means the universe. Vishwato means from the universe or towards the universe. Mukham, the face. So this form was surveying the entire universe. It was like there was no place in the universe that this form was not seeing, not witnessing. The entire universe was seen by this form. This form was watching everything. It was so huge. So, Divya Malyam Bharadharam, Divya Malyam Bharadharam, Divya Gandhanulepanam, Sarvascharyamayam Devam Anantam Vishwato Mukham. And divine garlands and clothes. It was smeared with divine sandalwood paste and was amazing in all respects. It was resplendent, shining, infinitely large, and faced the entire universe or was witnessing the entire universe. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapaduthita Yadi Bhas Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasas Tasya Mahatmanaha. So this 12th shloka of the 11th chapter is also famous for another reason. Okay, there was a nuclear scientist in the US. What was his name? Oppenheimer. Okay. So he became attached to the Bhagavad-Gita from his young days. Suddenly he developed an interest in it. And he became so interested in it that he wanted to read the original Gita himself. He didn't want to rely on English translations. Even at his time, Some English translations were available, but he didn't want to rely only on them. So he went to a friend in Berkeley. He was in Berkeley. So he went to another friend in Berkeley in the Department of Languages or Department of Sanskrit, and he requested him to teach him Sanskrit. And so with his help, he learned Sanskrit and he studied the Gita on his own. And he became so fascinated with the Gita that it became his obsession. He was obsessed with the Bhagavad-Gita. He would read it every day. It became a part of his life. Krishna and Bhagavad-Gita became a part of his life. And when he was the director of the project known as the Los Alamos Project, which developed the atomic bomb, which was eventually dropped on Japan. And that testing of that atomic bomb happened somewhere, I think, in the Nevada desert or something. The first time it was tested, that was the first time they saw that mushroom cloud, which comes when you drop the atomic bomb. And when he saw that, the brightness of that form, then he recollected this shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. He cited this shloka. He said, this reminds me of this beautiful shloka in the Gita. So what does this shloka tell us? It says, Divi. Divi means in the sky or in the heavens. Divi. Surya sahasrasya bhavet yugapaduttita. 1,000 suns, of 1,000 suns. Surya sahasrasya means of 1,000 suns. So sometimes the word sahasram is used here, Surya sahasram, 1,000 suns. But actually, very often, the word sahasram is used not literally to mean 1,000. It means huge number, infinite, or uncountable number of suns. Okay? Bhavet yugapaduttita. Yugapat means simultaneously. If 1,000 suns simultaneously got together, uttita means they all came up together. Yadi bhaha means of these 1,000 suns, sahasrasya bhaha means the brightness. Bhaha means the brightness or the effulgence or the radiance of these countless number of suns. Sadrishi sa syat bhasaha tasya mahatmanaha means he's trying to describe the luminescence of a countless number of suns rising up. What would the luminescence or brightness of a countless number of suns look like? So he's saying, if I have to describe that, then that would probably compare to the brightness of this universal form that Arjuna saw. So he's not comparing the universal form's brightness with the brightness of the suns. It's the other way around. He's using the brightness of the universal form, that form of Vishnu, as the reference and saying, if these countless number of suns came up and if I have to describe the brightness of that many number of suns at once, then probably they might resemble the brightness of that form. That form was so bright, amazingly bright, that there is no comparison to it. Okay, so this is how he says, Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapaduttita Yadi Baha Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha. So if somebody has to try to describe the brightness of a countless number of suns simultaneously rising up, then they probably can use this form to describe that, because this form's brightness cannot be described by anything else. So you can use this to describe other things. If the brilliance of 1,000 suns appeared at once in the sky, then it might in some way resemble, or even that might not match. Okay, this is what Baladeva also adds, saying that actually here it's saying that maybe it can be described with this brightness, but it may not match. That's the indirect meaning here, implied meaning. It was the Vishwarupam was so bright that even this, is too less for it to be described by the luminescence of that great personality. So it might in some way resemble, or it might not even match the luminescence of that great personality, Mahatmanaha. Tatraikastham stitam, tatraikastham jagat kritsnam, pravibhaktamane kadha, apashyad deva devasya sharire pandavastada. Tatra ekastham. At that point, at that place, ekastham means in a single place. Jagat Kritsnam. Jagat means the universe. Kritsnam means the entire universe. The entire universe, ekastham. In one single place in the sky, Arjuna saw the entire universe. He didn't have to go and look in different places. Standing in one single place, he saw the entire universe. Pravibhaktam anekadha means in different ways he saw it, means in through different colors, different types of colors could be seen in that. Different types of personalities could be seen. He could see many worlds at once, and sometimes those worlds separately. In many different ways, he saw that universe. Apashyat means saw. Deva Devasya, one who is the God of all the gods. Deva Devasya, Devanam Devaha, Deva Devaha, Tasya. In that form, in that God of the gods, in his Shariram, Sharire, in his body, Pandavaha, Arjuna, Tada, at that time. At that time, in the body of the God of the gods, he saw the entire universe categorized in different ways in one single place. Tatraikastham jagatkritsnam pravibhaktamanekadha apashyadeva devasya sharire pandavastadha. At that time, Arjuna saw there in a single place, inside the body of the God of the divine personalities, the Devas, the entire universe divided in various ways. Tatasavvismayavishto Krishtaromadhananchayah Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjalirabhashata. So what would you do? Suppose you're standing on the ground and seeing all this, what would happen to you? That happened to Arjuna. Tataha, thereafter, Saha Vismayavishtaha. Vismayam means bewilderment, or you can say an extreme form of amazement. Right? You can say blown when you say the mind has been blown. Vismaya. Avishtaha. Overwhelmed. Avishtaha means completely taken over by, overwhelmed, or covered by, completely taken over by that amazement. Hrishtaromaha, Hrishtaromaha, or Ishtaromaha. Hrishtaromaha here refers to Romaha means this hair, hair on the body, the hair on the skin is called Romaha. Hrishtaha means thrilled, excited. Okay, so when the hair is standing on its end, the hair stands up, hair rising, we say, right? The hair rising final of the IPL. We use phrases like that. Hair rising means so exciting. Rishtaromaha Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the name of Arjuna. Arjuna, his hair standing on the end. Pranamya, he bowed down. Okay, the amazement was so much that there was nothing he could do except spontaneously bow down. Pranamya Shirasa with his head. Devam. Kritanjalihi with his folded hands. Kritanjali means hands joined together. His palms joined together is called Kritanjalihi. Anjalihi. Abhashata. Abhashata means spoke. Abhashata means spoke. Tatas savvismayavishto Ishtaromadhananjayah Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjalirabhashata. Thereafter, Arjuna, overwhelmed by amazement, his hair standing on their ends, offered Anjali by joining his palms, and after bowing his head to Sri Bhagavan in respect, he spoke as follows. So now Arjuna is going to speak. Arjuna Uvacha Pashyami Devans Tava Deva Dehe Sarvans Tatha Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan Brahmanamisham Kamalasanastham Rishinscha Sarvan Uraganscha Divyan. So when you hear the description of Arjuna, now the next, I think this is from the 15th shloka. So now till the 31st shloka, the next 17 shlokas, Arjuna will speak. And you can see that he's not speaking in any logical manner. He's not like categorized the whole form, broken it down and say, first I'll describe this, then I'll describe that. There's so much to see, there's so much bewilderment that he just randomly describes. It's just random. And sometimes you will see him repeating the same thing again and again. Right? That is the amazement with which he is describing. He's just randomly describing whatever comes to his mind. So he says, Pashyami Devan, Tava Deva Dehe. I see, oh Deva, oh God, I'm seeing in your body all the Devas, all the gods are visible here. Sarvan, Tava Deva, Devan, Sarvan Devan, Tatra Pashyami, Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan. Bhuta Vishesham means particular categories of living entities. So living entities are categorized in different ways. For example, human beings as siddhas, as we say Gandharvas, Asuras, Devas, Daityas. different categorizations of living beings. And also, there are other ways of categorizing. For example, all the living beings which are born from the womb of a mother, like we are born from the womb of a mother, cows are born from the womb of a mother, tigers are born, in English we say mammals, they are born from a womb of a mother. And then there is another category of living beings which are not born from the womb of a mother, but they are born from eggs. Okay, so for example, in Sanskrit we say Jarayu. Jarayu means the womb, Jarayuja, that which is born from the womb of a mother is called Jarayu. So we are all Jarayujas because we are born from the womb of a mother. But take a bird. A bird doesn't sit in the womb of a mother. It's born from an egg. The mother lays the egg somewhere and the mother goes away, or mother helps it to hatch, and it's born from the egg. So it's called Andaja. A bird is called, or a snake is called Andaja because it's born from the Anda, the eggs. Okay, so in this manner, and there are some living beings which are born from the sweat. They are called Shvedaja. Shveda means sweat. Shvedajas are those which are born from sweat. So you can categorize living beings in many ways. Another categorization is Chara Achara, those which move and those which don't move, like plants don't move, animals move. Another categorization is Manushya Tiryang. Manushya means human beings like us. Tiryang means the animals which grow horizontally, which don't grow vertically. So he saw living beings categorized in different ways, all types of living beings in the body of that form. And then what did he see? Brahmanam Isham. Isham means the Paramatma. Isha, master. Okay. So within that form, he saw Vishnu in different forms. And how did he see? Brahmanam, that Isha inside the body of Brahma. Brahma, Paramatma. The Paramatma sits in the body of all beings, and he's inside Brahma also. Brahma is the topmost living being in this universe. Right? This is called Brahmanda because Brahma is the creator inside the universe. So Brahmanam, Isham, the Isha inside Brahma, Brahma along with that Paramatma. And what kind of Brahma? Kamalasanastham. Brahma sitting on top of the Kamala. So he said that Mahavishnu, he lies on the body of Ananta Shesha. And from the navel of Mahavishnu comes a lotus flower. And on that lotus is Brahma. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Yes. Yes, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. So Garbhodakashaya Vishnu's navel, this flower, lotus flower comes, and that's the stem on which all the different lokas are arranged. And on top of that is Satya Loka, which is in the lotus, and Brahma is sitting there. So he saw that. He saw that in that beautiful lotus there is Brahma. Brahmanam Isham Kamalasanastham. Rishinscha Sarvan Uraganscha Divyan. Rishin, he saw all the great rishis in that form. Sarvan, all of them. Uragan. Uragan means, Uragaha means a snake. Okay, Uragaha. How does this word come? Uran means the chest. Uragaha means that which moves with its chest. Okay, a snake is moving with its chest. You have to visualize that. Okay, if something is moving with its chest, it means it's crawling on the ground and going. So, Urena Gachati, Uragaha. So, Uragaha means a snake. Uraganscha Divyan. So, he saw all the divine snakes, not just the normal snakes that we see, but the Nagas, the different types of Nagas and Sarpas like Vasuki, Ananta, all the great Nagas he saw in the body of that Vishwarupam. Arjuna Uvacha Pashyami Devans Tava Deva Dehe Sarvans Tatha Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan Brahmanamisham Kamalasanastham Rishinscha Sarvan Uraganscha Divyan. Arjuna said, "O sacred personality, I see all the divine beings and various types of other beings in your body. I also see Sri Brahma and his Lord, the Paramatma within him, and the sages and all the divine snakes. Aneka bahudara vaktranetram pashyami tva sarvatonantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa." So Arjuna is addressing Sri Bhagavan as Vishveshwara, O master of this whole universe, O Vishwarupa, O universal form, Vishwarupa. Aneka bahudara vaktra netram. Okay, so whatever Sanjaya saw and described, now Arjuna is describing in his own words. He's saying numerous bahu, hands. This form that I'm seeing has got so many, countless number of hands. Udaram means bellies. Vaktram, faces. Netram, eyes. Numerous hands, bellies, faces, and eyes. Pashyami, I'm seeing. Tvam, you with all these things. Sarvato anantarupam. Anantarupam means infinite form. Anantam means that which has no anta. Sarvataha, in all respects, it's infinite. In everything, it's infinite, every aspect. Na antam na madhyam na punastavadim. Na antam, no end, na madhyam, no middle, na punaha tava adim. And again, no beginning also. Means if somebody were to ask me, okay, find out where is this form starting and where is it ending? Okay, let's define the scope of the problem. Where is the what are the boundaries of the problem? Okay. Now I can't find those boundaries. I'm not able to find out where it's starting, where it's ending, and I'm not able to say what the middle also is. It seems to be just expansive, so expansive, I can't make out anything. Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. Aneka bahudara vaktranetram pashyami tva sarvatonantarupam. Nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. I see you with numerous hands, bellies, faces, and eyes in all directions, having infinite forms. I see neither your beginning nor your middle nor your end. O one with the universal form, O master of this universe. Kiritinam gadinam chakrinancha tejo rashim sarvato deeptamantam pashyami tvam durniriksham samantat Deeptanalarka Dyutim Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinam. Kiriti means one who has crown or crowns. If he has got multiple heads, then he has got many crowns. One who has got many crowns, he is called a Kiriti. Kiritinam, I see you with so many crowns. Gadinam, you're holding so many maces. Gada. Gada means a mace. One who is holding a mace is called a Gadi. So, Gadinam, Chakrinam, one who holds chakra, Sudarshan chakra. I see so many chakras here. Chakrinam, Cha, Tejo Rashim, Tejas. Tejas means, you can say, brightness. Tejas in different contexts means different things. Tejas is also used to mean strength, power, dignity, might, nobility, etc. But another meaning of Tejas is fire. Anything burning, Tejaha, the luminescence, the fire, the blaze, that's also Tejas. So Tejo Rashim, I'm seeing a heap of flames, heap of fire, Rashi. Okay, not just Tejaha, but Tejo Rashi. Rashi means heap. Rashi of Teja, heaps of flames. Sarvato Deeptamantam means it is shining. Deeptam means that which is brightly burning, that which is luminous. Okay, Deeptam, shining. Sarvato Deeptamantam. In all directions, it is illuminating. It is burning and showing its light in all directions, spreading its light everywhere. Pashyami Tvam Durniriksham. Durniriksham means that which is so difficult to see. And it's not easy to see this form. Okay, it's also acknowledging that you have given me divine chakshu. Okay, in the beginning, Bhagavan says that I'm going to give you the divine chakshu to be able to see this. No ordinary person can see this. So it is so difficult to look at, but because of your kripa, I've got the divine chakshu. I'm able to see something. I'm able to make out something. Durniriksham, it is so difficult to see because samantat means all around. Deepta anala arka dyutim aprameyam. Analha means fire. Arkaha means the sun. A sun made of blazing fire. Deeptanalarkaha. Deepta anala arkaha means a burning, blazing sun. A sun which is blazing. That blazing sun's duty, light, which is aprameya. Aprameya means that which cannot be measured, immeasurable, unfathomable. Okay, so expansive, such a big blazing sun. Okay, Samantat Deeptanalarka Dyutim Aprameyam. You look like that. You look like a large blazing sun whose brightness is immeasurable. Okay. Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinam Cha Tejo Rashim Sarvato Deeptamantam Pasyamitvam Durniriksham Samantat Deeptanalarka Dyutim Aprameyam. I see you with crowns, maces, and discs. I see you as a heap of flames that illuminates all around. You are the immeasurable brightness of a sun of blazing fire that is very difficult to look at. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam, tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam, tvamavyaya shashvata dharma gopta, sanatanastvam purusho mato me. So even in the midst of all that amazement that Arjuna is beholding with all that fire and illumination, he's gathering himself and he's now philosophically describing that form. He's saying, Tvam Aksharam. Aksharam, Kshara. Kshara means, the word Kshara is used in Sanskrit to refer to something which can degrade. Okay, Kshara. So our body, for example, is a degradable item. Right? After some time, it will degrade. You buy some fruits and keep them for a few days, they are fresh and then they will degrade. You buy some flowers, after some time they will degrade. Everything in this material universe, which is made of matter, is Kshara, Kshara Vastu. So therefore, Kshara refers to something that is degradable in comparison to Akshara. Akshara means that which has no degradation ever. It is eternally the same. It will never degrade. It will never change its form. So if there is something like that, it's called Akshara. And yes, the Shastra tells us there is something like that, and that is the Atma. And that is also the Paramatma. The Paramatma and the Atma are like that. So he's saying, Tvam Aksharam, you are that. You are that non-degradable, that which never gets degraded, that which will always remain the same. Aksharam, Paramam, supreme, beyond this mundane Kshara Jagat. Okay. So Shara Akshara also means superior, inferior. Kshara means that which is Ksharobhava. Elsewhere in the Gita, the word Sharobhava means inferior quality, inferior nature. So Akshara Bhava is that which has superior quality, which is always non-degradable, which is always having its integrity, it always maintains itself, it never changes. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam. Veditavyaha means that which is to be known. Okay. So this actually is a very important word in Shastra, because there's always a debate. Okay, what is the ultimate thing that ought to be known? There are so many things to be known, right? We are students, we are studying management. Okay, there are other colleges where people study engineering, other colleges where people study medicine. So many things ought to be known because they are beneficial to humanity. But among all the things which ought to be known, which is the most supreme thing, which ought to be known, which absolutely ought to be known by everybody, the most essential thing, the highest thing, that is Bhagavan. Paramam Veditavyam, that which is beyond everything and that which ought to be known. So if somebody says, tell me only one thing that I ought to know by which all my problems will be solved, and there is nothing beyond which I need to know anything, that is Bhagavan. If we know Bhagavan and understand him perfectly, then even if we don't know any other thing, it is fine. It will take care of us. It will protect us. It will guide us in life. Okay. Tvam aksharam paramam veditavyam. Tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam. You, Tvam, asya vishwasya, of this universe, param nidhanam. You are the param, the ultimate. Nidhanam means that is called layasthanam, the param resting place. Nidhanam, the final resting place. The entire universe rests on you. You are the refuge for the entire universe. The entire universe is resting upon you. Tvamavyaya shashvata dharma gopta avyayaha. जिसका व्यय नहीं होता है, which never gets spent. जिसका व्यय होता है is something which gets spent. For example, my money will get spent. Okay, anything that I own gets spent. Eventually, is gone. So that which never gets spent, which never ends, it has a very similar meaning to Akshara, though in a fine sense, it's a different thing. Avyaya, that which has no end. Shashvata Dharma Gopta. You are the protector. Gopta, the word Gopta means one who is the protector. One who protects is a Gopta. Protector of what? Shashwata dharma, eternal dharma. Dharma is that which is eternal. So what is eternal dharma? Dharma which does good. So in the Mahabharata is described, dharma is defined as dharanat dharma ityahuhu, dharmena vidhritaah prajaha, yatsya dharana sanyuktaha sa dharma iti katyate. Dharma is that which sustains. Dharma is that by which the population finds its sustenance, sustainability. Okay, we talk so much about sustainability today. So dharma is that which gives sustainability. Sashwata dharma, dharma that is eternal. Okay, dharma that is spoken about in this material world is also eternal. And paro dharma, which we talk about in the Bhagavad-Gita, the dharma pertaining to Sri Bhagavan and his bhakti, that is, of course, superior and eternal. Shashwata dharma gopta, you are the protector of that dharma and you are eternally its protector. Okay, that's another way to understand the word Shashwata in this context. You are the protector of eternal dharma and you are the eternal protector of dharma. You protect dharma eternally, always. Always you protect dharma, not just once. It's not that now you came as Krishna avataram and in the Krishna avatara you protected dharma. But in some other avatara, that's not your job. No. Every time, all the time he manifests, that's his eternal duty to protect dharma. And sanatanaha, you are eternal. Tvam purusho mato me. Purushaha means a person. Shri Bhagavan is a person. He is Purusha, just like we are persons. Each of us is an individual. Okay, so many people understand God. People understand God in different ways. Of course, there are different religions, but even in our own religion, Hinduism also, there is an understanding of God which is variegated. So some people understand God as just a consciousness. Some people understand God as just an energy. Some people understand God as just an abstract creation of man. As a? Like see it as an energy, as a higher state of being. As just a higher state of being. Rational, I think rational, it's a bit closer to what you want. Yes, correct. It's from the Bhagavad-Gita. The Gita says, Shri Bhagavan is a Purusha. Okay, in the 15th chapter, he will elaborate more on his Purushatva. It's called Purushottama Yoga. He's a Uttama Purusha. But this word Purusha is used again and again. And Purusha means he's a person. Just like we are persons, individual Atma is a person. The Paramatma is also a person. Now, there are aspects to him which are impersonal. We can talk about him in an abstract sense, but that doesn't mean that that's the ultimate way to talk about him. Right? So he's a person. Sanatanastvam Purusho Mato Me. This is my opinion, he says. Mato Me. Me Mataha, my opinion. After seeing you like this, I can make out that you're actually a person who's displaying all these things. Twamaksharam paramam veditavyam twamasya vishwasya param nidhanam twamavyaya shashvata dharma gopta sanatanastvam purusho mato me. You are the supreme imperishable entity that ought to be known. You are the ultimate place of dissolution of this universe. You are the inexhaustible protector of eternal dharma. You are an eternal person. This is my understanding, or this is my opinion. Anadi madhyantam ananta viryam ananta bahum sashisurya netram pashyami tvam deepta hutasha vaktram swatejasa vishwamidam tapantam. So it is said that when somebody is in a state of shock or in a state of amazement or in a state of confusion, then they may repeat what they said earlier. They may repeat multiple times what they said earlier. And sometimes you will see Arjuna repeating what he just said. Okay. So now he's saying, Anadi Madhyantam means Adi Madhya Antaha, beginning, middle, and end. One who has a beginning, a middle, and an end is called Adi Madhyantaha. But Anadi Madhyantaha means one who has no beginning, middle, and end. So he's describing that form that he's seeing as Anadi Madhyantam, Ananta Viryam. Viryam, the word Virya can be used for strength. Ananta Viryam, infinite strength or prowess. Ananta Viryam, Ananta Bahum, infinite hands. Sashi Surya Netram, of whom the sun and the moon, Sashi and Surya, the moon and the sun, are the two eyes. Okay, so one description of the Vishwarupam is that the two eyes of the Vishwarupa are the moon and the sun because they are constantly watching us. Everything that we do, they are watching. Pashyami tvam, I'm seeing you. Deepta hutasha vaktram. This word is very significant because it will have implications for what is spoken by him later. His vaktram, his face, now he talked about having infinite faces. Now he's describing something more about those faces. Deepta hutasha. Deeptam means bright, luminous. Hutasha. Hutasha refers to the fire of the sacrifice that we make. We make a homa kunda, homam. When we do homa or yajna, there is a fire that we light. Okay, that is called hutashagni. Hutagni or hutasha. Hutasha refers to that agni which consumes. What does the fire in the homa kunda do, or in the yajna kunda? What does that fire do? We pour ghee into it. It consumes that ghee. Or we pour some rice. We put some rice into it. We put til into it. We put some other offerings into it. It consumes all that. It consumes and reduces that to ashes. It burns that down. So now he's seeing those faces of Krishna, that universal form, as having a fire which is similar to the fire of that Hutasha, of that Agni in the Yajna Kunda. This word is significant because in the later shlokas, after 2 or 3 shlokas, he will describe how he's seeing the Kauravas going into that fire and getting consumed, just like small insects falling into a fire. Okay, so that Deepta Hutasha Vaktram, he's seeing those faces with fire coming out of those faces, out of the mouths of those faces, fire is coming out, which is a fire of consumption, the fire ready to consume whatever falls into it. Okay, Deepta Hutasha Vaktram, Swatejasa, by your luminescence, by your burning, blazing luminescence, Vishwamidam Tapantam, you are burning this entire universe. Idam Vishwam Tapantam. Tapantam means burning. Tap kar rahe ho uska. Uska jwalan kar rahe ho. Right? You are burning the entire universe with your brightness. Okay, he's seeing that. Arjuna is seeing that. Anadi madhyantam ananta viryam, ananta bahum sashi surya netram, pashyami tvam deepta hutasha vaktram, swatejasa vishwamidam tapantam. I see that you have no beginning, middle, or end. You have unlimited strength and infinite hands. The sun and the moon are your eyes, and a blazing fire comes out of your mouth. By your heat, this entire universe burns. Dyava prithivyor idamantaram hi vyaptam tvayaikena dishascha sarvaha drishtvaadbhutam rupamidam tavogram lokatrayam pravyatitham mahatman. Oh Mahatman, oh Mahatma, is addressing Sri Bhagavan as Mahatma, oh Mahatman. Dyava Prithivyoho idam antaram hi. Dyava Prithvi, this word Dyava Prithvi in Sanskrit is used to when we talk about the earth and the Swargaloka together. Okay, we say the earth and the heaven, or the earth and the sky together. When we talk about them together as one collective noun, then we say Dyava Prithvi. So Dyava Prithivyoho, dual number. Idam antaram, the space between the earth and the heaven, okay, which is what Arjuna is seeing. Arjuna is standing there and he's seeing the sky. So he's seeing all this happening between the earth and the sky. Idam antaram hi vyaptam tvayaikena dishascha sarvaha. All the directions in that space, you alone are completely pervading it. There's nothing else I see other than you. You are pervading this entire space. Drishtva adbhutam rupamidam. After seeing this Adbhutam Rupam, this wondrous form, this amazing form, Lokatrayam, Tava Ugram. Ugram means aggressive or ferocious, fearsome. You can say ferocious, aggressive form, ferocious, aggressive form. Lokatrayam, the 3 lokas. The 3 lokas refers to the Bhuloka, the Bhuvarloka, and Swargaloka. See, the 14 lokas, the universe is composed of 14 lokas in which living beings live. So out of the 14 lokas, right somewhere in the middle are these 3 lokas. Bhuloka is where we live. Then slightly above us is Bhuvar Loka, where slightly more elevated beings live, and even more elevated beings than them, the Devas, they live in Swarga Loka. So Lokatrayam, one description of Lokatrayam is these 3 lokas: Bhuloka, Bhuvar Loka, Swarga Loka. pravyatitham, they are completely disturbed. Looking at this form, the people in these three lokas are completely disturbed. Drishtva adbhutam rupamidam tava ugram, I can see that the people of these three lokas are completely disturbed. So now a question comes that I thought I was the only one who was seeing this, because you gave me divine eyes. Just now you gave me the divine eyes, but now I'm seeing that so many others also are watching the same form that I'm seeing, and they are completely disturbed just like me. So Baladev Vidyabhushana explains that actually when the Kurukshetra Yuddha was about to begin, these events, all these great events, when there are great kings, great personalities on this earth, and they perform, just like when Bhishma took that that pratigya that I will never get married, and whoever is born to my mother, or Satyavati, he will become the next king, and I will remain a brahmachari all my life. He took that maha pratigya. All the devas who were watching, the rishis, the great personalities watching, they were showering flowers on him for that great pratigya that he made. In the same way, when the Kurukshetra Yuddha happened, it is such a great event when when inside a dynasty, the great dynasty of the Kauravas, within the family, there is a big battle, and all the kings of this world are coming together on the two sides to fight with each other. Massive destruction is going to happen. Everybody foresees that. So it's not only human beings who are involved in it, but the devas of Swargaloka, the Siddhas, the Gandharvas, even Asuras and Danavas, they came and they were watching to see what will happen. This is an amazing battle. And Sri Baladev Vidyabhushana, in his commentary on this shloka, he says that uh, among them, those who had bhakti to a Bhagavan. So Sri Bhagavan, he gave them also Divya Chakshu at the same time. When he was giving to Arjuna, because Arjuna is a bhakta, so he gave him the Divya Chakshu. You see it, I grant you this Divya Chakshu. So I will also grant this to all these people. Let them also enjoy. Anyway, I'm showing it to one person, let others also see. So many other devas and others, they also got to suddenly see this form. Okay, they were all waiting for the battle to start. Instead, the battle starting, there was a conversation which began between these two leading personalities. And as they were waiting for the conversation to end, all of a sudden they saw this form with numerous eyes and faces and fire and everything. And they are now wondering what's going on. They're completely shaken. Pravyathitam means shaken up. They're completely shaken. Dyava prithivyor idamantaram hi vyaptam tvayekena dishascha sarvaha drishtvaadbhutam rupamidam tavogram lokatrayam pravyatitham mahatman. The space between the earth and the sky is single-handedly pervaded by you, and so are all the directions. Oh, great one, after seeing this wondersome, ferocious form, the three worlds are disturbed. So this is the 20th shloka of the 11th chapter. And for today, we will stop with this. We have done 12 shlokas today. And we can see how Arjuna is now completely amazed, and he's seeing something that he has never seen before in this lifetime. And definitely, when he asked for Krishna to show him his Vishwarupa, show him the evidence for what he was just talking about, he didn't expect to see all this. You can make out from his reaction that he didn't expect to see this. He definitely expected to see something different, but certainly not this, what he's seeing now. We can make out from his description. And there is more to come. And what is going to come now is going to be a description of the action. Okay, all the while now it is passive. He's just showing that, okay, this was there, that was there. But now he will see actually what's going on. The people, the Kauravas, falling into the mouth of the blazing, the Vishwarupa. The one by one, what's going to happen in the future, that becomes visible to him. And how does he react when he sees that? That will come from the 21st shloka onwards. And this shloka is the sutra for that. Okay, he says, everybody was shaken up. And so next what happens, we will see. The 11th chapter will eventually conclude with Bhagavan saying that, if you really want to come to me and see my beautiful form, ultimately Arjuna will ask for seeing his original form, and Krishna will show that form. And then he says, this form that you're now seeing, that beautiful form, is seen by very few people, and it is seen only when you have bhakti. And so please, therefore, take the path of bhakti. He advocates the path of bhakti. The conclusion of the 11th chapter is about bhakti. And it's also the beginning of the 12th chapter, which is all about bhakti. So bhakti is the message of the Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita is eventually, after teaching us different things about the Atma, about us, and about Bhagavan, about himself, tells us the way to come to him. That is bhakti. Okay, it also talks about karma yoga and jnana yoga, but in a very subtle way, although they are also spoken about as paths to achieve him. In a very subtle and indirect way, you can make out that that is the Purva Paksha in the Bhagavad Gita. Purva Paksha means that which is the antithesis. Okay, in all our Shastra, in our Vedic scripture, in our Shastra, especially the philosophical Shastra, the approach taken by the author is that he has a Siddhanta in mind. Siddhanta means that which he wants to conclude in. That's the message that he wants to give, the author wants to give. But when he wants to give his Siddhanta, he also presents the Purva Paksha. That which he wants to say is not the best thing, is not the best understanding. So Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. So when we read a Shastra, we should be able to make out, okay, in this Shastra, the Purva Paksha is this and the Siddhanta is this. Correct? So like you read a paper, even today when you read your research papers, you will see that Purva Paksha and Uttara Paksha. Okay, that word, normally the word used is Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. Yes, Uttara Paksha also can be used, but Siddhanta means that which the author wants to establish. That is his conclusion. Siddhanta. It's his thesis. It's his message. Yes. Yes, something like alternate hypothesis, null hypothesis, something like that. Yeah. But more than that, it is about the counter view and my view and what is counter to my view. Okay. So in some indirect sense, in the Gita, although it's not directly said like that, but you can make out in a subtle way that Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are like the counter philosophy. That he's saying, don't take that path. That's also possible. You can take that path if you want to. If there is no other option, please take that path. But bhakti is what I want you to do. I want you to take. Okay, that comes out as you read the Gita very closely. Every now and then he talks about that philosophy and then says, if you do bhakti, it is much easier for you, which means he is advocating that you do that. Okay, so we will see that coming again and again. And now in the 11th chapter onwards, this becomes more frequent. His pointing to bhakti becomes more frequent. And in the 18th chapter, eventually, he will conclude in bhakti. So we will talk a lot more about bhakti as we go on. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take your questions, your comments also. Yes, Apeksha.
Arjuna glaring of 1,000 suns because he has got the spiritual vision. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, with the material vision, even the glaring of
yes, able to see.
For us to bear that. So, despite the glaring of 1,000 suns, he's still able to see the face.
He's able to make out the features. Yes.
That is spiritual.
Divya Chakshu. The Divya Chakshu that he has been given. The normal senses, the sense of vision we have, he is not capable of seeing that. So he has given some vision which is beyond that. Yes, absolutely.
And what did the non-bhaktas see? You mentioned that all the bhaktas were seeing the universal form. So what were the non-bhaktas seeing?
They were just seeing two people conversing with each other. That's all. They were seeing two. They may not even see the Shyamasundar form which the bhaktas see. They just see Krishna as a prince. He's a prince of Dwaraka. He's a charioteer of Arjuna. We call it the Shyamasundar form because we see it as beautiful. We see it with bhakti. And we see the beauty in that form.
They will not call it Shyamasundara.
Yeah, they may call it Shyamasundara, but for them it is another human being. They don't see the bhakti in that. There's no love in their eyes. Yes.
Basis this, so we know that the first 4 slokas were spoken by Sanjay, and not then Arjun spoke. And we talked about
so by Vyasa's blessings, Sanjaya could also see it.
Okay.
Whatever Arjuna saw, Vyasa gave him the blessing. His guru, Vyasa is his guru. So by his guru's blessings, he was given the blessing that whatever happens on the Kurukshetra Yuddha, even what people are thinking, uh, like the thoughts in the mind of Bhishma, the thoughts in the mind of Duryodhana, the thoughts in the mind of the different warriors, Dronacharya, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, and the conversation between Krishna, Arjuna, what they speak, all that will come to your knowledge. Your cognition will include all that. This blessing was given by Vyasa to him. Vyasa could see that. Vyasa was not there. He could see this, and Sanjaya could see this. Sanjaya could discern this.
So Sanjay saw, he was talking about his first-hand experience, or he was telling what Arjuna was seeing?
So Sanjaya also saw the form, and Sanjaya also is describing what Arjuna saw from Arjuna's description.
So
So
his
basically,
description is his own description.
his own description, and Sanjaya's description also. So two people describing the same thing. Let's say you and I together watch something, spectacle. We are seeing the same thing, and we'll describe in our own words. So we're describing almost similar things, similarly, in a similar manner.
Sanjay is first telling his own experience and then Arjuna's experience.
Yes. He's citing Arjuna, correct.
Sir, can you also go back to that Purusha Vala shloka?
Which shloka?
Sir, where you talk about the personal nature of Bhagwan.
Yeah.
So, sir, while I understand that when we say Bhagwan, so it is by default implied that there is a personal form, and when we say Brahman or Paramatma, so there is an impersonal kind of form. Here we say that we are interpreting this ki Bhagwan. We are talking when we say Purush, it means Bhagwan. Sir, my question is, can we also interpret it in the Sankhya way, as in here the Purush is not standing for the personal form, rather Purush and Prakriti Vala. So here Arjuna is saying that, okay, you are the one who is presiding over all the three gunas. You are the one who is the holder of Maya, something like that. So can it also be interpreted in that manner?
People interpret in different ways because Sanskrit allows you to interpret in many ways according to your Shraddha. It comes. So the simple understanding that is given by many of the acharyas, which I am trying to follow, is that Sri Bhagavan is a person. Sri Ramanuja, Madhva, Sridhara Swami, even Vallabha, Vishwanath Chakravarti, the Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Mahaprabhu, all of them have given the understanding that Sri Bhagavan is a person, basically a person. When we talk about him as Brahman, it is not a form of Bhagavan. Brahman is an understanding of Bhagavan held by people. They understand that person like that.
For when I say Bhagwan, so by default it means a personal form,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
suppose if I say there is an idol made of Ganpati, made of gold, an idol of Ganpati made of gold. So when I say Ganpati, so that is the personal or a form of that deity.
Yes.
But when I say gold, so it becomes the formless kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
correct. You're talking about the same person in a very abstract manner.
so the gold over there becomes, if I say gold, it becomes impersonal.
Hmm.
But when I say Ganpati, it becomes personal.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So, but over here, when I say Purush, so can it also be?
It's not about just saying, it's about how you understand that entity. Right? It's not about just a word.
Isn't it both? Because since Sri Bhagavan is omnipotent, so he can be both form with form and formless, right? So we cannot exclude.
Yeah, you can take it like that. Yeah, so he basically has a form, but you can talk about him formless, about his formless. I mean, you can talk about him in an abstract sense when you talk about his power or him as symbolically. We talk about a king, we talk about the king's government, we talk about the king's powers. So people hold different understandings about it.
So here my question was not about the personal or impersonal form. It was about, can this Purush also mean that Sankhya Wala Purush, the one which is presiding over Prakriti?
Depends on the person who is reading this. According to his Shraddha, he may take it like that. But here the Purush doesn't mean that. According to both Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baladeva, whom I'm reading, and many other commentators also. I'm not only talking about these two commentators. Many different commentators have explained that this refers to a person. Is a person.
There is a translation by Maharishi Maheshwari of Bhagavad-gi, in which, in the translation itself, he has given how two different philosophical or darshanas of Sankhya, Mimamsa, in Vedanta, how you can interpret Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Sankhya gives us a framework at different world level. So you can look at Bhagavad Gita through that also, even with Vedanta, non-dual, even
Yes.
Advait, Vedanta, different types of.
Yes.
So those through those different perspectives, we can look at the same thing.
Yes. So according to their Shraddha, different people interpret or they feel comfortable with different interpretations.
But sir, here the most natural.
I can explain to you what I feel comfortable with, depending on the scholars I have read and accepted.
So personally for me, sorry.
So given the context here, because he's showing his rupa,
Yeah.
so the most natural one seems to be the personal form here.
Yeah.
Purush suggests.
I can counter argue like someone who follows Advait Vedanta. If the explanation of same is Nirankar, that it's a form but it's formless at the same time. So one can also counter argue that
Yes.
there is the Purusha, but when you start to define it, the attributes of the same, it's not in a particular shape or body.
So you're to be able to counter argue, you should go deep into the philosophy. You must study Sanskrit and read the commentaries of different acharyas of all the sampradayas, the Shankara Sampradaya, Ramanuja, Madhva. And then you are in a position to counter argue and argue. Otherwise, what is the meaning of the argument? It'll be just, yeah, with limited knowledge, we are just.
But the thing is that even his point was that it seems more natural that Sankhya is the primary kind of philosophy which guides Bhagavad Gita. But there are counter views to it also, that it's not just.
Yeah, so some people may come from that point of view. They might have studied Sankhya first. Their mind is now looking at the whole world in terms of Sankhya. So when they read Bhagavad Gita, they look at it like that. But so many others haven't studied Sankhya before they come to Bhagavad Gita, right?
Sankhya is also very close to Advaita Vedanta.
Yes. Sankhya is close to Advaita. Advaita and Sankhya are close. Yes, true. There are differences also between them. Yeah.
The Sankhya, Prakriti and Purusha are different, but Advaita says that the Purusha alone manifests as Prakriti.
Okay. Professor Ayatakshi, you had a question?
Thank you, Professor Ajit. It was another enlightening session. I have one question based on the discussion today. That is, you mentioned that Bhakti Yoga is one of the supreme of all the other form, which is the Gyan Yoga or the Karma Yoga. So for a layman like us, how do we kind of strengthen the practices of Bhakti Yoga? Is that mentioned on the Gita as well? Is it mentioned? Are we going to cover it in the subsequent sections?
In the Bhagavad Gita itself, some aspects of bhakti are given, but there are other texts like the Srimad Bhagavatam where bhakti is, or the practice of bhakti is described in much more elaboration. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, bhakti is described, for example, let's say in the 10th chapter. In the middle of the 10th chapter, Sri Bhagavan in the shlokas number, if I recollect, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, shloka 8, shloka 9, shloka 10, shloka 11 of the 10th chapter, where Sri Bhagavan says, Aham sarvasya prabho mattaha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhaha bhava samanvitaha. The people who have understood that I am the source of everything and everything comes from me, they worship me. They engage in my seva. They do my seva. Then he says, Matchittaha matgata pranaha bodhayantav parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So one aspect, one practice of bhakti he touches upon there, where you talk about Krishna, you're reading about Krishna, you talk about him, you describe his activities, by which your mind becomes absorbed in him. And you feel pleasure in doing that. You feel good about it. Acha lagta hai. So tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Okay. Then he says that he guides in the process of bhakti, he gets involved in it. It's not just transactional in nature. It's personal. He becomes your personal guide. He guides you from inside. So he says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So to such people who are engaged in my bhakti and who are always talking about me, I give them the intelligence by which they will come to me. Okay, this is the 11th shloka of the 10th chapter. No, sorry, the 10th shloka, I think, the 10th shloka of the 10th chapter. And in the next shloka, he says, Teshameva anukampartham. Out of anukampa means out of compassion, out of feeling of, they are dependent on me. So he feels very compassionate. Teshameva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha. See, ajnana is the reason why we are not able to realize ourselves and realize Bhagavan. Okay, ajnana is what prevents us and makes us think that we are this body and God doesn't exist. So, tesham eva anukampartham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami. I destroy that darkness. Tamaha means darkness, which is because of ajnana in the heart. Okay, ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastaha. That darkness which is residing in their consciousness, the consciousness in the heart or consciousness in the atma. In the consciousness which resides, the darkness which resides, I destroy that out of compassion. Jnana dipena, with the lamp of knowledge, which means this jnana, it comes as a product of bhakti. Okay, somewhere else people describe that jnana is superior to bhakti and jnana is the ultimate goal. But no, bhakti is superior. Jnana is a byproduct of bhakti, like this shloka also says. Teshameva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastha jnana dipena bhasvata. With the shining lamp of knowledge, I destroy the darkness which is in their heart out of compassion for them. Okay, so now in these 4 shlokas that I just recited, he is giving bhakti in a very, very summary way. He's explaining the process of bhakti, how in bhakti we talk about him, we sing his kirtan, or we try to come to him, we think about him. And he just says that I then reciprocate by guiding them, taking care of them, and I give them I destroy their darkness and I make them. So realization comes from within because he's working inside. He works inside of us. But if you see other scripture, like for example, if you see the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, right in the very first part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he lists 64 angas of bhakti, 64 different practices, predominant practices of bhakti, which involves things like studying the Shastra, like Bhagavatam, reciting his names, Harinama Japa. The Harinama Japa is considered the most fundamental practice of bhakti, doing his recitation of his Nama. Okay, I can talk more about that in a separate session, or I can talk to you personally also. So Harinama Japa is a very fundamental practice, and if that is done every day, then all other practices will revolve around it, like reading the Bhagavatam or going to a temple or visiting or doing a puja of the deity or maintaining deity and doing alankar, etc. So 64 angas he lists inside that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself. Like this, in other places also, many other practices are given. So bhakti is a whole system of practices and basically transforming the consciousness, which we can do. The Bhagavad-Gita doesn't list all in so much detail. It just points to bhakti as the process.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. You can also ask me follow-up questions whenever you wish to. Puneet, you had a question?
Yes, sir. So any technique or practice to understand the desires of the mind or mental desires, how we can differentiate this with the consciousness of Atma also?
Well, when we do japa, for example, japa is a meditation in which we absorb ourselves in the sound of the name, the Harinam. And by doing that, automatically, it's very interesting how when we do japa, a lot of anartha, that is the desires in the mind, the unwanted, the conflicts, the anxieties, what is disturbing our mind, different types of fears, it could be the fear of some, career related thing. It could be the fear of our opponent. It could be the fear of the government. It could be anything, any kind of fear, or fear of disease. All kinds of fears become evident to us. We realize that these things are residing inside us. And that process of doing japa reveals weaknesses, why we are experiencing that fear, the root of that fear. So typically, fear is not the most fundamental thing. Fundamental to fear is our misconceptions. We have understood something wrongly about how we should be in this world. We have understood something wrongly about the nature of this world, about what the world expects from us, what we should do in this world, etc. Those misconceptions are what actually result eventually in fear and confusion. So those misconceptions also come out. From inside, we will see that, yes, that was a wrong understanding I had. So by sincerely looking inside, of course, we have to be sincere. We have to be honest with ourselves. We should be willing to accept that there is something wrong with me. There's some weakness inside me. That is why I am suffering. How can I overcome that weakness? That answer comes from inside. That guidance comes from inside. I don't know if this addresses your question, Puneet.
Right, sir. Thank you.
It does? Okay.
Sir, this is Aruna here, sir.
Yes, Arunabha.
Sir, I have two questions and a request, sir. Sir,
Yes.
one is Harinama Japa, the one that you mentioned just now. Is it that the sloka that you mentioned at the beginning of the session today? And that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Yeah.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is that the one, sir?
Yeah, that is the mantra which Sri Mahaprabhu, he made it very popular. He said, in the Kali Yuga, this mantra is the one, if you chant this mantra, then it does everything. Means by this mantra, Sri Bhagavan comes in the form of this Hare Krishna mantra, and it achieves everything. Yes, but there are other people who chant other names of Bhagavan also. Yes. So I want to, as a part of this class, I want to say that is not the only Harinam that people chant, but people chant other things also. Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, is there a way or a time or, something something to do previously, something to do after that, for this sloka to be, japa every day?
The only condition that is to be fulfilled for doing japa and deriving the benefit of doing japa is to not commit aparadh or offense. There's no other condition. Aparadh means, what is meant by aparadh? Aparadh is the opposite of seva. So two words, seva and aparadh, are like antonyms of each other. Seva is that which makes Bhagavan happy. It gives him happiness, which pleases him, by which he feels a liking towards you. It makes him like you. That is called seva. Aparadh is the opposite. Aparadh is that which displeases him. For example, I'll give you a simple example of aparadh, which is easy to understand. Let's say I steal something. Okay,
So,
I go somewhere, I see something that is attractive to me, but it's not mine. It belongs to somebody else. I know that it belongs to somebody else. But when nobody is watching, I just pick it and I go away. That's called stealing, right? Now,
so
stealing some object from somewhere is very displeasing to Bhagavan. That's not at all pleasing to him. Okay. So if somebody wants to do Harinama Japa, then stealing is something that he should not do. Similarly, being dishonest, telling lies, okay, unless, of course, in a situation where it's a matter of life and death and you have to, protect yourself against somebody who's trying to kill you, telling lies is fine. But in most situations, we are not like that, right? We don't have to lie. So telling lies, being dishonest, asatya, is very displeasing to Bhagavan. These are all fundamental aspects of dharma. So committing any activity of adharma is very displeasing to Bhagavan, and that is an antonym of
Harinam Japa.
Harinama Japa, antithesis, or goes against doing Harinam Japa. So Harinam, a person doing Harinam has to cultivate all the sattvic qualities, has to decide by himself that I will live a sattvic life. I will not do anything which is hurting others, which is offensive to other people around me, which is pleasing to Bhagavan. Okay. There's nothing else. For example, you don't have to do some big puja. You don't have to do some big donation to some temple. Nothing. There is nothing else to please Bhagavan except to live a simple, honest life where you don't cheat anybody. You do your work sincerely and just aspire for the kripa of Bhagavan. You say that I want to be yours. I want your guidance. In whatever I do, I want to remember that I belong to you. You are mine. I belong to you. This should be the desire of bhakti. This is the desire which drives bhakti. The desire for the realization that I belong to Bhagavan Bhagavan is mine, I belong to him, I am his, and he guides me, he is my protector.
Sir.
Sir,
Sir, someone saying something?
No, no, let him complete. Huh? Then I'll come to you. Yes, Arunabha, please.
Uh,
Please complete.
Sir,
Yes.
I mean, there are few gray areas in that stealing thing, sir. Give you a, I'll give you an example. There's this poem which I read long back, and the poem, I'm not able to recall the exact wordings of the poem, but the poem went something like this: that a cat it stole food and ate. So the protagonist is the cat, and the person who saw it is he asks the cat that, hey, you are stealing and having the food. The cat replied, you don't eat for 3 days and then you comment this. So in this kind of gray area situations, I mean, how do we decide on which side of the, on which side of the story we are in? Are we on the right side or are we on the wrong side? How do we do that? So is there anything we can do on this? Did you get the question, sir?
Yes, I got the question. Yeah. So there is no one rule for this. The answer in bhakti is that for all such situations, the guidance comes from within. Listen to the voice inside. Ask Bhagavan sincerely. You tell yourself that I want to be, even if I lose something, it's okay, but I want to do the right thing. What is the
Yeah.
right thing in this situation? It's a gray area. So you just sit for some time quietly without any disturbance and chant the Harinama and ask Bhagavan, please guide me in this situation. What should I do? I will do as
Sir.
you say. And you give
So,
the justification from inside. So he will guide you. That is the
so
way to.
yeah. You had narrated this example, Khir Chor Nandalal, that example where the protagonist himself, I'm not able to recall the name. He was so devoted to God that he even forgot to eat. That example, sir. So thank you very much for that.
Okay.
So the second question is, sir, I had was, so one thing that was discussed in the lecture today was the fact that if there is one ultimate knowledge which needs to be passed on to someone, it is bhakti in me.
Hmm.
So that was one thing. So does that mean like if an exam comes over, so we just pray to God, hey God, just let me pass and God will take care of it. So I mean, I'm a bit, in two minds. I mean, how to address this thing,
Yeah, it's a very good question because that's how we see people doing bhakti, right?
sir?
Now, you pray to God that you take care of me because I didn't prepare anything.
Yeah, because karma is not there. No karma, it's only bhakti.
Yeah. So to answer, that is why we should read the Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. and ask if the bhaktas in Mahabharata, for example, the Pandavas, did they do that? Did Pandavas do that? Right? For example, Arjuna, he's the most prepared warrior. He's the leading warrior on
Right.
Pandava's side. On the other side is Bhishma. Both are bhaktas. And did they do that? On the contrary, Arjuna is described as a person who stayed up the whole night because he was Gudakesha. He didn't need to sleep. He used to practice the whole night so that he can become perfect and do his duty properly. That is bhakti. Bhakti means you do your work even better than the others who do it. Your
Okay.
devotion to work.
So bhakti along with karma together is what is then the ultimate. So bhakti without karma is nothing, right?
Bhakti without karma. Yeah. So karma is a subset of bhakti. Means
Karma is a subset of
bhakti is beyond karma. Karma
Okay.
automatically gets included in bhakti. When somebody does bhakti, whatever they would have done if they were doing the path of karma yoga, automatically happens in bhakti. It doesn't have to be separately thought of.
Sir.
Understood? It subsumes.
Sir.
Yoga subsumes karma yoga and
Sir.
goes beyond it. So sincerity in duty. So if a bhakta, for example, is in a situation that he has not prepared for the exam, he may still go and write the exam, but he will not pray to God and say, now I didn't prepare anything, but I'm your bhakta, so please protect me. No. Instead, he will feel guilty. And he will say that what to do, by my own laziness, I didn't prepare. I take responsibility for it. I will not blame Bhagavan for this. I will take responsibility. Let whatever happens, happen. This time I will just live with it. But next time I will definitely prepare well. Not repeat this mistake. So he will repent for the mistake that he has made. He will not pray for protection to Bhagavan. He may pray for guidance about how to come out of that kind of mentality. He'll pray to Bhagavan to help him to come out of that laziness.
Sir.
You understood? Not to solve his problems.
Sir. And sir, I had the third thing was the request, sir. Sir, there is a sloka which says about anayasena maranam. Sir, can you, in one of your classes, in any one of your classes, can you give the meaning of this? Anayasena maranam bina dainandina jivanam dehantum tava sanna dhyanam dehivya parvashwaram.
Okay, do like this. I'm not sure you pronounced all the words correctly. So do like this. You just email that shloka to me wherever
Sir.
you put it.
Sir.
You email it to me. In the next class, I will try to explain it.
Sir. Thank you,
Okay?
sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Pranam, sir.
Thank you, Arunabha. Nalinaksha, you had a question.
But I was just trying to add that Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga also like talks about the same thing, like being honest first and then like those subsequent 7 things.
Yeah. They are dharma
Trying
and
to add.
yes. The yama niyamas are more fundamental to yoga. They are done first before we go to yoga, which include things like ahimsa, satya, brahmacharya, ishvara pranidhan, etc. Yes, Vedant.
Obviously, dharma is that which sustains. The question is, what does it sustain? Whenever we say it's sanatana dharma, it's eternal. What will it keep eternal and what will it sustain?
Most fundamentally, okay, his question is, we say dharma is that which sustains or which gives sustainability, which imparts sustainability. What does it sustain? Okay. Now, yeah, what is the dependent variable? Yeah. So the point is this, that what is it that we are looking for? What is the ultimate goal of life? Happiness, right? So we say, for example, if I ask, what is your immediate goal? Immediate goal is to get a job. Then why do I need a job? Because I need to earn money. Why do I need to earn money? Because I need to have a house. I need to maintain my family. So by this, you will say, you will have a lot of mediating variables. But ultimately, what is the final dependent variable? The final end is happiness. I want to be happy. I want joy. I want happiness. I want to be free from misery, right? Now, this is what dharma gives. Dharma leads to sustainable happiness. Sustained happiness and sustained absence of misery comes by the sustained practice of dharma. As long as dharma is upheld and practiced, this will be sustained. So that's why dharmena vidhrita prajaha. Dharma gives us, by following dharma, society becomes stable. Vidhrita prajaha means the population becomes sustained. The population becomes stable, peaceful. That's why we talk about Ramarajya, for example. Ramarajya is an example of a population where there is dharma prevalent. Everything is running by dharma. Everything is stable. There's no instability. Nobody is fighting with anyone. Nobody is cheating anyone. Everyone knows their duties. Everybody is happy. That's the answer. Yes, Professor Ayatakshi.
Sir, in this context, I have another question. So when you say happiness, so what I understand by happiness is something which is very transient, right? In compared to, say, being joyful or being in the state of equanimity. So if I say that, and also I think in Bhagavad-gita, they have brought in the concept of sthita prajnata. Okay, so can I say that instead our goal, instead of achieving happiness, can it be to achieve a state of mind which is equanimous, or which is, or we say the sthita prajnata?
Yes.
Where we do not feel overjoyed when we see something which is very pleasant, or we do not feel very, very, very sad when we see something which we are not able to achieve, say our goals. So won't that be the ultimate goal rather than happiness? Thank you.
Very good question. Excellent question. Actually, very relevant also. Yes, the Bhagavad-gita distinguishes between Samanya Dharma and Parodharma. Both are forms of Dharma. Samanya Dharma is the Dharma that's spoken about in the majority of our scripture. But scriptures like the Gita, the Bhagavatam, and certain other scriptures also, they speak about Parodharma. Parodharma is superior Dharma, where concepts like equanimity of mind through yoga, through connecting with Bhagavan, that those things come, Sthita Pragyata. And eventually, even higher than Sthita Pragyata is Bhakti, where your mind is absorbed in Bhagavan. It's not merely equanimous, but also equanimous at the feet of Bhagavan. It's completely absorbed in him. Okay, so that is parodharma, and that gives a superior form of happiness or joy, whatever English word you use for it, you call it happiness or joy. But yes, that equanimity, that sustained, means it's even more sustained. It's eternal. Okay, Samanya Dharma, the happiness of Samanya Dharma is sustained in a more temporary sense, means it is for a lifetime. In this lifetime, you will be happy, but in the next lifetime, where you will go, maybe you will go to Swarga Loka, where again you will feel happiness. But it is not considered permanent happiness. That happiness of the material existence, even if it is sustained in the material existence, it is still temporary. But yes, what you pointed out is that parodharma is what is spoken about in the Bhagavad-Gita. That is the goal of the Bhagavad-Gita. And that is meant for happiness, which is akshaya or akshara. We talked about these words, akshara, akshaya today. And that kind of happiness, which never gets over, which is eternal, right? That is what is being taught about in the Gita. You're on the dot. Yes. Yes.
Also, I think in Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, it is mentioned about sama bhava. I think, sama, the state of sama. Is that what, I mean, is it same? Are these two constructs same or is it different?
The samatva in Patanjali Yoga is somewhat similar to the sthita pragyatva of the Gita. Patanjali's samatva is equanimity of mind. See, Patanjali begins the Yoga Sutra with the definition of yoga itself as yogaha chittavritti nirodha. For him, his yoga, the way in which Patanjali is using yoga, the word yoga, is not exactly the same as what Sri Bhagavan is referring to as yoga in the Bhagavad-Gita. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it's very clear that he is referring to yoga as connecting with him. Even when he's talking about karma yoga, jnana yoga, and eventually bhakti yoga, and all of them, he is talking about connecting with him, with some understanding of him. It could be different types of understanding, but ultimately connecting with the supreme entity. There is some supreme Ishvara, with whom you connect. But in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, yoga is not exactly that. There is Ishvara Pranidhan mentioned in Yoga Sutra, but that Ishvara is not the same as the Ishvara of the Bhagavad Gita. For Patanjali, yoga just means that equanimity of the mind, or the mind being free from the disturbances which occur, the different types of thoughts which occur in the mind, and the mind is normally in a state where it is undergoing different types of disturbance. When that disturbance completely calms down, when the mind is completely calm, that is the state of being sama, right? When it's focused on one thing, it's completely at peace. That is what Patanjali is talking about. It has a similarity with the sthita pragyatva of the Gita, but the sthita pragyatva of the Gita, in my understanding, is a richer concept. It is more rich in its aspects than the samatva of Patanjali. We can study it in fineness and see how it differs.
Yeah, thank you. And Professor Ajit, also one more thing, if we can add in our next classes, is the concept of samadhi, because I'm also confused with this, the concept of samadhi and sthita prajna, if there is any difference between these two. Maybe we can cover it later on.
Sure, Professor. I'll work on it. And I'll come back with that.
Thank you so much.
Apeksha, here you had a question.
Actually, sir, bhakti is a different arena altogether. Bhakti does talk about happiness. When we are listening to Bhagavatam, when we are listening to the activities of Krishna, we are bound to get happy. Bhakti, the intention of bhakti is not to make us robots. Yes. Equanimity is needed in terms of material life. When I'm equanimous in the events of material gains or losses. When it comes to bhakti, I have to be happy. It is a aparad not to become happy when you see a bhakta, when you see a Vaishnava.
I won't say it's an aparad to not become.
चैतन्य चरितामृत में लिखा है सर, मुझे एग्जैक्ट रेफरेंस नहीं है मेरे पास, बट भक्त को देख के प्रसन्न ना होना ये अपराध है. आप पढ़ लीजिएगा.
I'll see if I'm able to find the reference where it says that.
We become happy when we see other bhaktas. We have to become happy when we see the deity. And bhakti is about happiness. Bhakti.
will naturally become happy.
It should happen. If it happens, if you become happy, whatever happens in bhakti is never have to. It is always natural. It should be natural. Bhakti is a natural process. Bhakti
I'm
is.
saying that it is an aparad, not because
It is not an. I wouldn't. No, the word aparad has got a specific meaning. Aparad is something when you.
Says that when we see a bhakta, it's almost like seeing Krishna. A true bhakta is a reflection of Krishna. I have seen in some of the translations of that they have actually used these kinds of words.
Mhm.
It is not prescriptive, but it is mandatory. Some of these kinds of translation I have read long back.
See, the thing is this. My only discomfort with that language of have to is that happiness is something that you cannot bring about by the word have to. It is something that is naturally experienced. You feel happy. And then you know that you felt happy after you feel happy.
it is one of the
You
aparad.
please send it to me. No, you please send the original text to me in Bengali. If it's in Bengali, I won't be able to read it, but I'll take the help of somebody who knows Bengali. If it is in Hindi or Sanskrit.
See, Samarth, it is about letting you know the standards of bhakti. It is about, it is about setting the standards.
Well, if somebody does feel that happiness, then you would say they are fortunate. I would say it like that. But I would say somebody who is not feeling the happiness is not committing an aparad. I wouldn't say he's committing an aparad.
Example, but the overarching point was that happiness is very much a part of bhakti. I mean,
Yeah.
bhakti is about happiness.
Happiness is a natural outcome of bhakti. It's an outcome, or like in Jiva Goswami explains in the in the commentary to Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, how it naturally comes. Happiness naturally emerges when one performs bhakti sincerely, without aparat. When one, without committing aparat, performs bhakti, then happiness naturally comes. But if somebody does not feel happy for whatever reason, that could be because of their own understanding or their perceptions. You cannot say that person is committing an aparat because of not feeling happy. Happiness is an experience, right? It should come naturally from within. But please send me that text where it says like this. Yeah, please find out and send it to me. I'd be interested in seeing what is described there. Yeah, you had a question. What is your name?
Sir, myself Shodi Kar, from West Bengal. So I had a question since a very long time about this chapter. We're very specific about this phenomena of Vishnu Darshan.
Yeah.
So in Gauriya Vaishnavism, Arjuna is considered to be one of the highly esteemed devotees of Krishna.
Yes. Yes.
So I want to ask the point, I mean, the underlying reason or purpose of this whole Leela of Vishnu Darshan, because let me just set the context first. Because see, in Gauriya Vaishnavism, there are two kinds of bhakti. One is Vaidhi Bhakti, one is Raganuga Bhakti.
Yes.
And through Vaidhi Bhakti, you go to Vaikuntha, and through Raganuga, you go to Goloka. So if Krishna is showing the Vishnu Darshan, which is kind of through the verses, and through the verses it is shown that how bewildered Arjuna is, and that is kind of a ferocious form.
Yes.
But in Raganuga Bhakti, and even in the five rasas of Bhakti, the topmost rasa is the Prema rasa. I don't remember the name specifically.
Okay.
But if you want to, I mean, the whole purpose of the Vaishnavas, specifically the Gauriya Vaishnavas, is to elevate to that kind of rasa, or the Raganuga Bhakti, which kind of translates the Prema rasa between the Bhagavan, between the Bhagavan and the Jivas. But if this Leela is performed, doesn't it trivially instill the faith that one should do the Vaidhi Bhakti, that is utmost servitude only, because that is a ferocious kind of one, that is a kingship kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do one calculate from that phase to Raganuga Bhakti, or even the ladder of the even to the ladder for going onto the topmost form of Bhakti Rasa?
Yeah, so in reading the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, we are not discussing Raganuga Bhakti at all. It is not meant to inspire Raganuga Bhakti here. It is because Arjuna asked for it. We are just narrating, we are going systematically through the Bhagavad-gita. Arjuna is going through his confusion in his mind. Because Arjuna represents not a Raganuga Bhakta here, at least in the Gita. He is representing a normal Aam Admi who is confused about his duties, about his responsibilities and the goals of life. So Arjuna represents such a person who doesn't know what to do in the face of duty, he wants to run away. So Krishna is trying to clear his confusion gradually, but Arjuna is only getting more curious, and he's not able to accept what Bhagavan is telling him. In the course of that conversation, he has reached a point where he is saying that, please show me your Vishwarupa. So we should not expect to learn about Raganuga Bhakti when we read about the Vishwarupa. If you want to read about Raganuga Bhakti, then you should read the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is written by Rupa Goswami. I can give you a copy of that. I have a translation of that in Hindi, along with the commentaries of some of the acharyas like Jiva Goswami and so on. And you can share your email ID with me. I will mail it to you. And I can also discuss it with you, whatever my understanding is. So there we don't talk about Vishwarupa at all.
So that is kind of, I mean, what devotees aspire to reach to that position.
Yes, yes.
For Vedasarma Bhakti, he ultimately reaches to Raganuga Bhakti. It comes from the mercy of Krishna.
Yes.
Then he sees the effort that you are putting in Vedasarma Bhakti.
Yeah, that. But I was just confused about this.
Vaidhi is not a requirement for Raganuga. They are two different things. Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti are two different types of sadhana, according to Rupa Goswami. He says there are two types of sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. Both are sadhana bhakti. And you can, depending on, there's a definition, I'll explain that to you in more detail.
In Raganuga without Vedhi also.
One can choose Raganuga, not attain Raganuga. Raganuga is a sadhana bhakti. It's a sadhana path. Vaidhi is one path of sadhana, Raganuga is another path of sadhana. This is a fine difference between them. What the difference is, I will explain in more detail. For want of time, I don't want to go into the details now, but I will explain to you either personally or in a future class when we talk about it. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu does a very beautiful explanation of this. Rupa Goswami explains in a very systematic manner the difference between them and why they are different and how, one should practice. But the practices are similar. Both the practices of Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana are very similar. Only the mentality is different. What they are aiming is different. For today, shall we stop with this? We can take questions after the closing of the class also if somebody wants to stay back and ask questions. Good. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobhramanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Tad Vishno of Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagruvagum Sassamindhate Vishnor Yat Paramam Padam. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat. Dhanyavada.